Picture it. It's the late 2000s to early 2010s. Your crusty little fingers are clanking away on the prized family computer. Or, if you were a filthy aristocrat, your very own Toshiba, the keyboard of which is a bacterial Jackson Pollock. Your still-to-be-diagnosed brain is being inundated with what is truly the peak of comedy, musical parodies, some of which you naively showed to your parents, after which they swiftly revoked your internet privileges for a week. But that was many moons, relationships, and, if you're fun, DUIs ago. Rewatching these videos with full prefrontal cortex development, you're actually on your parents' side. Dang. We were really just watching anything. Huh. Some of these parodies still hold up, though. Wait, this is still a bop! Were most of these any good? No. But there is a nostalgic factor to them that really can't be beat. But whatever happened to these creators anyway? Welcome back to my YouTuber retrospective series. Today I'm covering some of the most memorable musical parodists on this platform. At least the ones that I remember and watched. This is a niche of content that, more than any other, exists at a crossroads of YouTube's revolving relationship with advertisers, litigious record labels and free use laws, abrupt shifts in the algorithm, the general evolving views towards edgy comedy, and to top it all off, it of course includes my favorite topic, the transient nature of online fame. As always, if you want someone to get featured in future episodes, please let me know in the comment section down below, or check out my playlist on my channel, because sometimes I've already covered that person in a previous episode. While you're down there, give me a like. Maybe comment a secret. Have you ever committed a hit and run? You're allowed one. Let's delve into one of the most famous people in this category, and easily the poster boy for what happens when your business model on this platform gets mercilessly kneecapped. Bart Baker. Born to Albanian immigrants on May 5th, 1986, in Chi-Town, baby. Inspired by my favorite Jewish trio, The Lonely Island, Bart started out making just small comedy videos in his backyard on a green screen, and his interest in video production led him to attend film school in the land of Latino Republicans and conspicuous BBLs, Miami. Once he realized the potential for this website called YouTube, he uploaded his first, available video on his channel in February of 2007. It was not a parody, though. It was actually just a remake of the Big Timers hit Get Your Roll On. Bart looks kind of tinted, let's just say, which is gonna be a reoccurring trend in some of his future videos. He got the full Rachel Dolezal treatment, didn't he? 2009 is when he uploaded his first original song, which was, again, still not a parody. It's about a future where robots have destroyed all women, so these space pervs have to pleasure themselves, which I think is the premise of The Martian. Regardless, it got 100K views, which, again, that was a huge deal back in the day. So Bart said, okay, let me lean into this. Bart had always had an interest in music production that wasn't just for comedic purposes, because that same year he released the dance track Tonight. This is so Jeremy Fragrance coded. He would still dabble in standard early YouTube clickbait, Prostitute Dog on Stilts, which is the sequel to Air Bud. But in January 2010, he dropped his first actual parody of a music video. A TikTok spoof titled Chick K. You can guess what the joke is. From the very beginning, his parodies had his signature brand of humor, which was very crass, clearly not very PC, edgy, but for the sake of being edgy in a way that isn't particularly clever. I have enough internet brain rot to not really get offended by much, but there's always a comedy that's edginess is so forced. It's not even that you're offended, it's just that you're kind of uncomfortable. Another 2010s hit was California Boys, which was obviously a California Girls parody. The fact that these are someone's grandpas.
Sun-kissed skin so hot will melt your popsicle.
That social security check is not cutting it, huh? He was filming with RK Shorts Studios at this point. Love the Way You Lie was transformed into Used to Be a Guy. I'm starting to think that this actor is being held hostage. Watching these elderly men in Party City drag gyrating around in an LA green screen basement for a check that will be used to, assumedly cover their insulin is quite jarring. There is something dark web-esque about it. There is very heavy use of auto-tune, very gross out lyrics. The vocals are also deliberately bad, but sometimes it does work. Like, some of these vocals do have me giggling a bit. These parodies might not have been my cup of tea, but listen, Bart knew how to farm engagement via outrage, disgust, confusion, and the algorithm at the time rewarded it because, I mean, hey, it was getting clicks. By 2011's Friday parody, Bart was actually getting featured more as one of the leads. What I admire most about him is his subtlety. Of course, there was the obligatory Justin Bieber parody. I would pay to see the auditions for these. By 2011, Bart had moved from RK Short Studios to Maker Studios in LA. Hits of this era include Sexy and I'm Homeless, the Rack City parody Fat Hungry Chick. Girl, if you don't drop that chicken right now, where is Dr. Umar Johnson when you need him? You know what? Maybe the halal boy band was right about the West needing to be destroyed. Bart contributed to Obama's 2012 re-election campaign with his Call Me Maybe parody. This was a huge hit, racking up 68 million views. 2013 to 2015 is when he was clocked in at the Locked-In Factory. Any very popular or even just kind of cringe music video, he was on it. Posting a full music video every 2 weeks, and he was writing all the lyrics as well on top of performing, so you can't knock this man's hustle. The algorithm was still pushing out short form videos, so this was the heyday for musical parodies, but also a lot of animated comedic shorts. And advertisers were way more lenient. Plus, churning out these parodies so quickly would mean that any search for the original still trending song would also yield Bart's videos in the search results. His formula was usually to just lean into the most overused joke about the artist, like One Direction are foppish dandies. Taylor Swift, his favorite punching bag, is an insane ex. Nicki Minaj has a big butt. You get the drill. All his hit parodies of the era were pretty much just the biggest music videos of that time. Wrecking Ball, Dark Horse, which Katy Perry, according to Bart, actually really liked. Wiggle, All About That Bass, Anaconda. He was getting a bunch of cameos from other prominent internet celebs. Is that Winston? 2013 saw Bart really deal with how irritating and litigious record labels could be when his parody of Lord's Royals got taken down due to alleged copyright infringement. Like most parodists, Bart was recreating the melody of the original song, but different enough where I don't think it technically constituted as intellectual property theft, with completely original lyrics and vocals. So what he was doing was in line with fair use laws for parodies. Bart was rightfully pissed, but a few days later, the video got restored. By 2014, Bart was getting featured in more mainstream gigs, like the music video for truly the backtrack to most older Gen Z's college alcoholic arc, Pitbull's Fireball. He had small roles in FML and Laid in America, two alleged films. In 2015, he got signed to Creative Artists Agency. He was diversifying his channel a bit with his trailer parodies and the series Crash Pad, which was basically a game show version of MTV's Ridiculousness, aka Rob Dyrdek's Purgatory. Bart was named by Billboard as one of the most prolific music parodists in 2016, and he stayed in the studio, this time making non-parody but still comedic, tongue-in-cheek singles, which he also released in 2016. Drake was followed by Kimye, with his self-released album Celebrities dropping in March of 2017, peaking at number 4 on the Billboard's comedy albums chart. He dipped his toes into philanthropy, partnering up with Cancer, as his own mother was a breast cancer survivor, where participating fans could potentially win a guest appearance in one of his music videos. 2017 did mark the beginning of the end. This was the year of the infamous adpocalpyse, with major advertisers threatening to pull their ads from YouTube as they were playing on videos that they deemed to be inappropriate or politically radical. YouTube, whose business model relied on ad revenue, at least in part, began to crack down on content that they deemed to not be family-friendly. So what made Bart's channel popular and stand out in the past was the exact reason it was about to start getting pelted with the yellow dollar sign of doom. His fears that he would no longer be able to make parodies and actually turn a profit on them would soon come to fruition. It also didn't help that his views were gradually decreasing as his core audience was growing up. During 2018, under the rap name Lil Clorox, which was clearly poking fun at the SoundCloud rappers of that era, but Bart did claim that a lot of his non-comedic music was more sincere than people thought. He released Popper, For Zanny, and Prom Queen. I think they're gospel tracks. By this point, he had been removed from YouTube's preferred program, with YouTube never giving him an exact reason, which means that now he would have to bring in over 40 million views just to break even given the video costs. It had been a year since his channel was really profitable. He did partner with Brave, which was willing to donate $5 for every person that downloaded their web browser. Their goal was to reach 100K downloads, which would fund his parodies for the next 2 years. It seems as if the goal was not reached because his last parody of Fifi came out in 2018. In 2019, Bart participated in a Vice mini-doc that, I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this, might be the most haunting depiction of how precipitous and swift a career drop even a top 1% creator can face when they are no longer in the good graces of the algorithm and their tech overlords.
You love China? 我爱中国。是的，是的，是的。Why do you think I got Huawei? 我爱华为。你好，我是 Baker。Okay, so Bart, 투표给我. I see you tomorrow, or maybe I'll see you tonight. I don't know. I'll see you in the morning. Bye. Jesus.
The Chinese management company DC Management reached out to him when he was at a career low point. The manager, who goes by Super BT, straight up says, well, he wasn't that cute or special, but, you know, he's a hustler, and he already had a built-in audience of 10 million. They were looking for someone Western, aka Aryan, to translate and perform music they send over, which Bart does, albeit awkwardly, which is understandable because he doesn't speak the language, and lyrics don't tend to translate well.
If the clouds are a letter from the sky, can you read it so I can hear it one more time? Just for the journey, so excited, follow the path to when I landed.
Then he uploads them primarily to Douyin, which is just Chinese TikTok, or he would just do covers of existing songs. Some of his most popular hits are just really patriotic songs about China, and since he also relies on sponsorships, he has to maintain a China-friendly image. Now, the songs are not full-blown propaganda. Some of them are diet at the very least. Bart became what some Chinese people label as Bai Haosi. I did not pronounce that correctly, but it translates to white monkey, which is a white foreigner, or really any flavor of foreigner, but they tend to be white, who are hired for jobs like modeling, advertising, or English teaching positions, primarily because of their race and not their qualifications.
I am Richard from England, European General Agent of the Ginger Boss. I am a very demanded person for food, and I chose Jiang because of the high standards and high quality of Jiang's products.
The thought process behind this is that a foreign face will give this corporation or this product, you know, a sense of legitimacy. Oftentimes the gig is just cringe, but sometimes it is in service of more nationalist propaganda. In the case of Bart, his business model could not adapt to the changing platform, so he pivoted in a way. Watching him tap dance for a new set of even more restrictive tech overlords, singing lyrics that he hasn't written, let alone fully understands, as his 10 million YouTube subscriber play button is just shattered in the background. Talk about a modern-day virtual dystopian nightmare. On some level, I can't help but feel for the guy. I mean, he could have also just, gotten a regular job. This mini-doc still does make me sad, though. I can't help it, guys. I'm an empath. He did end up moving to Shanghai around this time because he had amassed over 10 million followers on these apps. Though he did return back to the States in 2021, where he stated that the reason for him moving back was that he really missed his family and friends. He does claim that he did genuinely enjoy making content on Douyin, but he did have plans to make new parodies and content on YouTube with the help of his newest obsession, crypto. Seeing as he is using the big eye / skin brightening filter on this video, it seems as if he did absorb aspects of Chinese culture. The crypto plan seems to not have worked out, since his most recent music video / just upload generally was Poly Doge, obviously named after the coin, which was released in November of 2021. His latest upload on Instagram was from 2022. Same with TikTok, where his last upload was about crypto. I don't think he's even on Douyin anymore, because I went and downloaded the actual app and I could not find him anywhere. But on Bart's Twitter, he does state that he no longer does social media anywhere, so it's safe to say that he's retired. And this man is most definitely alive, because he stays tweeting, with his most recent post being from September of this year, at least as of the time of recording right now. He is still very into crypto, even selling his greatest hits as coins on Zora. He keeps retweeting DeSantis, specifically regarding property taxes, which leads me to believe that he lives, or at least owns, property in Florida. See, Bart and I are on the same page, because I don't even pay my regular taxes. If any IRS auditors are watching this, I just want to clarify that that was a joke, and also, that cardigan looks lovely on you, Deborah. You know, your husband doesn't appreciate you. Considering Bart's other retweets, he seems to have shifted more right, or maybe he was already fairly right-wing. I mean, this isn't really an expose or anything. Is that John Kennedy?
If you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
He was riding pretty hard for Trump in 2024, so he must like him more than he did back in 2016. Bart is also trying not to age. Sorry, he stopped aging at 25, actually. So add biotech onto his list of passions. With over 3 billion channel views, Bart Baker might not have been my personal cup of tea, but he definitely left his mark on the platform, and that's more than what most people can say. I got cold, so I put on a cardigan. I look like I'm in a PTA meeting. Your son's been making trap music again, and I'm starting to get concerned. Now, the next creator departed from YouTube due to more personal issues as opposed to changes on the platform. However, this is a video about musical parodies on YouTube, so I had to include the one, the only Venetian Princess, aka Jody Amy Rivera. Born February 22nd of 1984, Jody hails from Brockham, Massachusetts. I feel like I'm announcing a beauty pageant contestant, which is fitting because Miss Jody is gorgeous in a glam hometown girl kind of way. Like, you know, she always has her nails and lashes done and makes a mean Sunday dinner. Jody always had a love for theater. She'd make a bunch of home videos when she was a kid. Venetian Princess was the name of her alter ego, which she chose because she is half Italian and also a Disney fan, so bam. She had her own website at the time, which was a pretty common thing if you were making comedy videos online. So she had already been gaining some clout by 2006 when she created her YouTube channel, but her first available video is from August of 2007, which she jokes is what she does when her husband Hector, who is also her high school sweetheart, wasn't at home. Her earlier non-privated videos are just her goofing, a lot of character work, just being a paragon of femininity and grace. She had acquired enough of an audience and clout that by 2008, she was already doing mainstream gigs as she was shooting a show in LA. Hillary Be My Best Friend is her earliest available track that is an original song. I have a similar song about sadistic dad bod haver Saddam. What's tragic is that he'll never get to hear it. July 2008 is when her breakthrough 7 Things I Hate About You spoof, 7 Things Guys Don't Have to Do, dropped. I loved this parody back in the day, and it still holds up. Jody also had some pipes on her, like she could actually sing. She would write all of the lyrics, and her friend Steve Goldstein would do all of the backing instrumentals. She was getting deals with Samsung, being featured in online publications. Her most popular video parodies Britney Spears' Womanizer. I hadn't watched this in over a decade, and rewatching it just itched a very specific part of my brain. She's singing about wanting to date a nerd, with Ryan Higa and other popular at the time male YouTubers playing like little bit parts. She'd also parody Lady Gaga, of course, but Britney was a staple, and it did help that in this makeup she actually does look a lot like her. My initial introduction to her was Just a Zombie, parody, which is a parody of You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift. Jodie would also parody Octomom, beg Brangelina to adopt her. They already have a spicy Ethiopian baby. It's too late for me. I've aged out. Also, they're divorced. Ugh. Her other iconic song of this era was her Snooki parody. I feel like Nicole would actually like this. By 2011, she created her vlog channel and had a small studio. Any space that is painted this shade of fuchsia just comes with a black and white portrait of Marilyn Monroe. Soon after, though, she went kind of MIA. It's difficult to get a perfectly accurate timeline because you can tell that a lot of her videos were probably privated, but from around late 2011 to 2012, there's a bit of a gap in her uploads. But you start to see more uploads in 2013. Jodie began to open up more about her mother's struggles with COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. She was taking care of her mom, and this seemed to be the reason that she had to take time off from YouTube. Her father was also in poor health. She was really struggling with the weight of that, but she did claim that the ordeal was making her more mentally resilient. By this point, she had started transitioning out of doing parodies, posting more Q&As and opinion pieces, with her last music video parody being a spoof of Roar about some guy named Thor. I don't know, like, he's pretty mid. I mean, I have abs like that too. I just don't flash them shirtless everywhere because that would violate my parole. It would make sense that she was focusing on less labor-intensive and expensive projects because her mother was her priority at that point. But unfortunately, her mother did pass away in 2014. But a month later, Jodie discovered that after years of doctors telling her that she would never conceive, she found out she was pregnant with her daughter Ariana, who was born in 2015. The announcement is so millennial Catholic core. I love it. In 2016, she re-uploaded some parodies that had been previously taken down due to copyright. But by that point, and up until now, really, she barely uploaded, like maybe a cover here or there. But this is understandable, of course, because she was raising a family. She did actually upload an update video a few months ago. She opened up about how much she loved being a creator, especially editing, and people sending stuff to her P.O. box. Jodie revealed that her father passed away during COVID, and she also lost her brother. She also opened up about her yo-yoing weight. That started when she was in high school, where she struggled with an ED, gaining weight after her mom passed, and also having postpartum, losing 145 pounds, and then gaining a lot of it back after her father passed away, which I only mention because A, she's openly disclosed all of this, but because she ends the video by revealing that she is about to undergo a gastric bypass surgery. She expresses how grateful she is for her subscribers and how much she's missed them.
I just wanted to say that I miss you. I get a lot of people that say, oh, you were my childhood and your videos are so nostalgic to me. And that, I'm gonna really cry. That means the world to me because I made like a special, I'm in that person's brain, like that's a special part of their life. Your childhood is so important and so significant. And so I think that's really cool. And for that, I am so grateful.
She was met with an outpouring of love and support. Jodie lives in Florida now, I believe, with her family, where she bought her dream old house because she loves like old historical homes. She discovered her love for decorating and interior design, though I'm not sure if she is still with her husband, as she did post a TikTok alluding to being in an emotionally relationship. She still posts on occasion on Instagram, and it's very older millennial mom. The older I get, the more I appreciate this aesthetic. Venetian Princess was at one point the most subscribed to female YouTuber, and she's easily still one of my favorite musical parodists. If it turns out that I'm actually mispronouncing that word, I'm gonna end it all. God bless her, and I really hope that she's doing well. The key of awesome. So, originally, Ben Reels created barelypolitical.com, which started to post some of their videos onto YouTube. On June 13th of 2007, their first available video and their biggest early meme, Crush on Obama, dropped.
Hey B, it's me. If you're there, pick up. I was just watching you on C-SPAN. Anyway, call me back.
With vocals by Leah Kaufman and Amber Lee Ettinger as the actress. This song still slaps. Da da da, from 2008, Barack Obama, you're my very first candidate. They milked this meme from 2007 to 2008. This page was, I mean, as you can imagine, very politically oriented back in the day, making spoofs, remixes, a lot of hormonal clickbait. This is reminding me to get a mammogram. October of 2009 is when Mark Douglas and Todd Wilmack created the first Key of Awesome episode because it was technically a series on this channel. Heavy Metal Cats is about being obsessed with looking at cats online. It's very 2009, but it's not a parody. It's actually just an original comedic song. My favorite original track from this era was Twilight Sucks, which was sung from the perspective of iron-deficient Wonder Boy Dracula. I'll never be an emo vampire. Their Lady Gaga spoof was their first traditional song parody of, like an existing popular song. But their magnum opus, in my opinion, was, of course, the obligatory 2009 Justin Bieber spoof. I am adorable, so precious. I made you this macaroni necklace at school. The square root of 1600 is 40. Don't you wanna be my shorty? It was in February of 2010 that they dropped their most viral hit, parody of TikTok, where Kesha's family holds an intervention. I saw this for the first time in middle school after my cousin had illegally downloaded it. This was back when we were living in Ethiopia. Pirated content was the backbone of my childhood. Barely Political was bought by Next Now Networks, which was then acquired by YouTube in 2011. And you know what that means? A slightly better green screen. Love the Way You Lie didn't really poke fun at the artists. It actually just reimagined the toxic relationship as an elementary school romance. 2010 to 2015 were their peak years. Their hits from this era were California Girls, They're Unreliable, Forget to Remember You. They hit Kesha, of course, Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, all of the artists that were ripe for parody. You know, the second Miley dropped the Wrecking Ball video, that these creators practically flew to their closets to pick out a wife beater. They really utilized this actor, Jan Zakowski, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who was thankfully growing pretty much at the same rate as Bieber. The vocals on these parodies had always been solid, but they were genuinely pretty good because they were getting actual singers to do the impressions. Mark dropped Reggae Shark in 2014, which was an original song and animation. He clearly was interested in making his own music, comedic or otherwise, not just parodies, which makes sense because that's what he started out doing. The channel was still churning out other series, but let's be real, we know it was bringing in the largest audience, and their content wasn't even political anymore. But isn't all comedy inherently political? Sorry, sometimes when I get pretentious or just French, a cigarette manifests in my hand. So in 2016, they just changed the channel name to Key of Awesome, with a little rubber ducky as their mascot, because, get it? Ducky of Awesome. By 2017, views on their parodies were lower, but still in the millions. They diversified a bit with their studio sessions, song rants, and of course, behind-the-scenes footage. Reggae Shark became a show on YouTube Premium, where the ganja-loving fish, clearly voiced by Mark, is a superhero. Their last big music video parody that was a hit was their Bon Appetit spoof. And their last musical parody that was not a full music video was a Havana Unplugged episode in 2017. So by 2018, again, short-form videos were not getting pushed out like they used to, their views were going down, and most importantly, Mark was done. He announced in February of that year that he was taking an indefinite break. He expressed his gratitude to the fans for their support, but confessed that he'd started to feel bad for crapping on artists that he really had nothing against. The rest of the team was also featured. This was the last video that was uploaded to this channel. Mark always had an interest in making original music, and in a 2021 interview, he stated that he was working on a normal album. Since the Kesha video blew up the way that it did, he realized it was just more lucrative to lean into that niche, but making parodies like that was just never his passion. Plus, towards the end, he was trying to balance the music series with his animated show, and he was just exhausted. Also, eventually record labels became more litigious, so some of his older musical parodies are completely demonetized. So Ben Reels, the original creator of it all, really, he went on to be the head of comedy at YouTube. Okay. He also helped develop Vsauce, so yeah, he's not doing too shabby. Todd Wilmack went on to work for Warner Media for Rooster Teeth, I believe. He moved to Texas, and he stated that he just wanted to live a normal life. After the Key of Awesome, Mark seemed to just be working on projects that he wanted to, and he was also trying to get his health back on track. His latest post is from 2024. He is married. He still lives in Brooklyn. Aw, that's him and his son. You might want to get a paternity test, Mark. He still has a passion for music today and is still acting a fool.
Come here, baby Yoda. I gotta save you. Baby Yoda, I am not. Regular Yoda, I am. Shut up, kid. I gotta protect you. Somebody sneezed. Put me down, you will. Sound like Miss Piggy.
The Hillywood Show, the brainchild of sisters Hannah, born April 1st of 1986, and Hillary, aka Hilly Hindi, born on March 2nd, 1990, in Las Vegas, baby. Anytime I hear someone is born in Vegas, it doesn't sound right. It's like saying you were born in a Chuck E. Cheese. Like, it's physically possible, but it's just so unnatural. To make things easier, Hilly was the main performer, and Hannah was the older sister and was usually behind the camera. But Hilly's nickname is where, obviously, the Hillywood Show name comes from, because Hollywood, Hillywood, it's not that complicated, but I do kind of like it. They were both raised Christian and homeschooled in Vegas. Well, I guess you gotta go where the souls need to be saved. They were always performing, putting on plays and shows. The Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings behind the scenes, like, extended DVD collection blew their little brains away and inspired them to go into film production. They went on to make a shot-for-shot recreation of Fellowship of the Ring. The entire thing. In 2006, AOL Red had a competition for a web series. So they filmed a pilot, The Late Night Show with Jack Sparrow, and they made it to the top 5. So AOL gave them a bit of a budget, and they reshot it, and this is the one that's actually available on their YouTube. Their first available video on their channel is from December of 2006, but it wasn't the pilot, it was actually episode 2 that they uploaded first. But from the very beginning, they had a flair for cosplay, nerd culture, mixing in skits. These early episodes were basically like a variety/talk show with copyrighted characters, sprinkled with a bit of child labor. I love to see it. The musical component had not yet been incorporated, though. They always uploaded their bloopers, which they continued throughout their careers. It was with their spoof of Nightmare on Elm Street that they shifted into doing more specific and contained spoofs of, like, one intellectual property at a time. Their 2009 Twilight spoof was what allowed their channel to take off. It was their first video to follow their semi-jukebox musical formula, but just with one song. This time it was Hot and Cold, where the song would have lyrics that would overlap with specific themes of that scene or film generally. They are lip singing though, these are not original vocals, but they did throw in a little bit of choreography. Come on, High School Musical. It got 100,000 views overnight. They got invited to host a Twilight convention. A Twilight fan site even donated money so they could upgrade their camera. So the video quality got crisp for 2010. They parodied all the Twilight films, and I mean, come on, you knew they were going to be consistent hits, with their channel's second most popular video being their Breaking Dawn parody. They'd keep the original vocals, but they started altering the backtrack and some of the lyrics a bit, so it'd be like, I'm gonna marry Edward, instead of marry the night. The last minute of that song, by the way, is perfect post-crash out music, or pre-crash out, or to play while you're crashing out. They would also parody artists like Lady Gaga, the film The Runaways. Like the consummate nerds that they were, they tapped into every teen/tween fandom. Vampire Diaries, Hunger Games, The Hobbit, Harry Potter, of course. This parody had fully original lyrics this time, as sung from Harry's POV, to the melody of Friday by blunt bob icon Rebecca Black. It helped that Hilly had a face that could transform into quite a lot of people, and they did all of their own makeup and costume transformations, by the way. You know an eyebrow pencil hates to see her coming. By 2013, they diversified their content a bit by making challenge videos. They posted a lot of convention vlogs. When you're making high-end, very labor-intensive projects like full-length music video parodies, it makes sense that you would have to then intersplice it with a lot more low-effort kind of content so that you can still maintain a consistent upload schedule. They sunk their teeth into Doctor Who, returned to Pirates of the Caribbean. By 2014, their production value had gone up even more, with their Walking Dead parody being their most expensive one yet. Look at these shots. That camera has wheels on it. Look at me understanding technical jargon. Can you tell I don't work in the industry? Get grimy with it, Rick. 2015 marked their peak, as they had gotten big enough to the point where the cast of Supernatural was cameoing in their videos. In 2016, they posted a video asking fans for financial support, as they had always been fan-funded for the most part, but it seems like the cost of the music videos were probably going up. They went international for the Sherlock parody. which featured a rendition of quiff mannequin Macklemore's Thrift Shop with original Sherlock-themed lyrics. They would appear as guests on a lot of geeky fan shows, like Doctor Who The Fan Show and Geek of the Week. 2017's Suicide Squad parody, based on Lady Gaga's Judas, was their biggest and most recent viral video. Harley's Video Diary. Oh, I hope she's sponsored by BetterHelp. They continue to tap into nerd culture for their parodies with Stranger Things and The Umbrella Academy. In 2018, they did Supernatural 2.0. In 2020, their podcast premiered and they started selling merch. But by this point, views had just kept decreasing, and again, YouTube was not pushing out shorter videos. It was a long-form game. Their younger audience had also started to grow up, and considering how expensive and time-consuming these projects were, not even taking into account legal COVID restrictions at the time, I could understand why, by this point, they were starting to slow down. They still have a small studio that they showed off in 2022. I really did not understand just how much work these women did. They were not only the makeup artists and costume designers for not just themselves, but every cast member. They juggled being the creative concept manager, cinematographer, director, just the general shoot organizer. They were the production company. In 2023, they created their most recent parody of Good Omens. Neil Gaiman even cameoed. They began uploading old behind-the-scenes footage. They are still fan-funded, and they do have a Patreon, but it seems like financial issues allow them to only create one parody a year. So I will include a link to their Patreon down below if you want to help them out. Hilly is still acting and is also a dancer, which the both of them seem to have a passion for starting in their youth. She still cosplays and does convention appearances. Hannah has been married since 2012 to Drew Lawrence. She had a daughter, Ava, in 2018. She gardens and bakes. I love a quaint woman. As if 2025, they are working on a Star Wars project, with their most recent cast update being from August of this year. So even though their output has slowed down, they are still two geeky sisters working on their passion projects together. And it is honestly so sweet to see that they're still doing their own thing and they seem to be at peace. So, is there any part of this video that was surprising, sad, or like predictable? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, the Bart section of this video is what intrigued me to cover this topic, but I was like, you know what? I might as well cover some of these other people because, I mean, my gosh, this was such an era on YouTube, and I don't know if this kind of content can really be made anymore. A bygone era, for better or worse. Anywho, as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, tell me you love me, tell me you hate me. I don't really care. And as always, thank you for watching. Shout out to my top patrons. If you would like to donate to my Patreon, then please click on the link in the description or on screen. I have 3 years of back catalog on that baby. A lot of stuff that, quite frankly, would flop if I put it on here because it's a little too niche and a little too weird, but I think you guys would like it, so please help your girl out. If you want to, no pressure. Thank you to my other lovely patrons. Your names should be scrolling on screen as I speak. Bye.